For 36 hours, over 100,000 people kept living their normal lives, going to work, sending their kids to school, 3 kilometers from a nuclear reactor that had just exploded. This is the story of how the Soviet Union tried to hide the worst nuclear disaster in history. April 25th, 1986, Chernobyl Nuclear Power Plant in Ukraine, the Reactor No. 4. That night, engineers were running a routine safety test. Nothing unusual. They wanted to check if the reactor's turbine could still power emergency water pump for a few seconds due to the power failure. A basic backup check, a kind of test plants run all the time. And they had to run the reactor at dangerously low power level, something the reactor's design wasn't built to handle safely. Power inside the reactor suddenly surged out of control, and within seconds, there were 2 massive explosions. The explosion blew the 1,000-ton steel and concrete blade off the reactor. The fireball blew through the building, and the reactor's graphite core now completely exposed, caught in fire. Firefighters were called almost immediately, but they had no idea what they were actually walking into. Nobody told them that was a nuclear fire. They thought it was just a normal electrical fire. And one of them was a 25-year-old named Vasily Ignatenko. He climbed onto the reactor roof to fight the flames directly. Within hours, he absorbed a fatal dose of radiation, and it took 2 weeks for him to die. His own wife later described watching his body break into piece by piece. He was buried in a filled concrete coffin because his body was still radioactive. 28 firefighters and plant workers died displaced in the weeks after the explosion, and over 200 more were left with severe radiation sickness, and all of them went in without being told the truth about what they were facing. That's why number 1, told to the Reddit people risking their lives to contain it. The town of Pripyat was 3 kilometers away from the plant. Around 50,000 people lived there. Many of them were plant workers and their families. And for a whole day after the explosion, nobody in the Pripyat was told anything about it. There was no warning, no instruction. People went to work like normal and kids played outside like nothing happened, because for them, nothing happened. No one told them that there is a disaster happening 3 kilometers away from them. That's virtually 36 hours after the explosion that Soviet officials finally began evacuating Pripyat. Officials told the residents it was just temporary. Pack lied, thus documents and officials, and you will be back soon to your sea. But here's the thing, they never came back. Pripyat is still abandoned today. Monitoring stations in Sweden, over 1,000 kilometers away, they detected unusual high radiation levels.
At first, Swedish scientists thought something was wrong with their own equipment. Then they checked wind patterns. The radiation was blowing in from the direction of the Soviet Union. Sweden demanded an explanation. And only then, only after getting caught by a foreign country, did the Soviet government admit anything had happened at all. Meanwhile, in Kyiv, just 100 kilometers from the disaster, the Soviet government went ahead with a massive May Day parade just days later.
Eventually, world knew. Eventually, the evacuation zone expanded to over 300,000 people, reallocating permanently.
But none of that had to take 2 full days. It took 2 days because the truth was inconvenient, and the Soviet government decided inconvenience mattered more than the people breathing that air.
Today, Chernobyl stands as one of the history's clearest lesson that what happens when people in power choose their image over the truth. And whenever a company or a government tells you that everything is under control, Chernobyl is the reason that should make you always ask one more question.